Just before we kind of get into the software, just want to just quickly run through a little kind of presentation on PowerPoint, just to outline what we're actually going to be doing this evening. So as I said, many thanks for attending our web workshop, how to improve your productivity with the HBXL software suite. I also want to add as well, if you do want to ask questions as we kind of go through the demonstration, I'll probably have a bit of a kind of a Q&A session towards the end. There is a little kind of question box on the GoToMeeting software, so do please fire questions as you kind of ask them throughout the kind of presentation, and we'll have a bit of a Q&A session towards the end. My name is Mark Brady. I'm the sales manager at HBXL. I've been with the company a good 9.5 years now. So been demonstrating and presenting the software for going on nearly 10 years now. So hopefully I'll be able to provide that kind of knowledge that I've got within the software in this evening's demonstration. What we're actually going to be looking at is how the software kind of goes from PlansXpress into our EstimatorXpress software, and then starts cascading with our XConnect software into our other software, as well as the Health and Safety Expert, ContractsXpert, and also the ProjectXpert as well. PlansXpress into EstimatorXpress. So what we can actually do is we can actually produce building plans, elevations, with the 3D modeling as well. So what we can actually do is produce a set of plans for the customer with the kind of 3D cut-throughs, and also kind of 3D elevations using PlansXpress. Also with EstimatorXpress, you can then produce material order schedules, as well as some charts with breakdown of costs, as well as a nice professional quotation, as well as a kind of a project management bar chart. So let's have a look at the software. So what we're actually going to be doing this evening is I'm actually going to be uploading a PDF plan into PlansXpress, and then we'll be feeding that, once we've traced over the PDF plan, we'll then be pushing that into EstimatorXpress to actually price up the PDF plan. Now the PDF plan, I'm just going to open up this PDF down here. This is in PDF format. What we can actually see off the actual plan is we've got an extension at the rear of this property here. So the extension itself is a single-story extension with the a lean-to. We've got a little kind of teed-in apex roof at the front, as well as some bifold doors. One window at the front, one window at the side, and a bay window at the front as well. Now, in order to get the PDF plans into PlansXpress, what we do is we actually save our PDF plan to location on your desktop or your documents. Open up a PlansXpress. Now, on the PDF, we do actually have, if I go back to the PDF, on the PDF plan, we've already got the scale and the plan size. Now, the scale is 1:50, and the plan size is A1. So when we open up PlansXpress, what we can do is we can go to the File menu, click on the New button, and it gives us an option to actually create a new plan from the template. Now, we have some ready-made templates in here. As you can see there, the one that is highlighted is an A1 1:50 plain page plan. So by clicking on OK, that gives us our plan to actually use. So to get the PDF in, what we do is go to the Drawing and Annotation button. We click on the Image File button. That can be found just here. And what that will then do is allow us to have a look within the documents where that plan is. Now, the plan itself is called Sample Drawing for Traceover Extension. If I click on Open, What I'll first get is a image preview of the actual plan, so we can see it is the right one that we're actually bringing in. If I click on OK, now what I'm now doing is just moving the mouse to the bottom left hand corner. You'll actually see there the software is actually snapping to that left hand corner. It's actually giving me my origin point to actually place the PDF. I'll left mouse click, and all I'm now doing is just moving the mouse across the plan up to that top right hand corner. And we can see there, all we do is then the left mouse click, and that will place the PDF plan onto our PlansXpress. What I'm now doing here, I'm using the middle scroll wheel button to actually zoom in and zoom out. All I'm doing is rolling the wheel up and down, and that's actually zooming in. Wherever I put my crosshairs, say I put my crosshairs down to this bottom right hand corner and zoom in there, it'll allow me to kind of zoom into any kind of section within the plan itself. The other option we've actually got as well is if I actually press the middle scroll wheel button, we can actually move the plan around. We've actually got what's called a grab function, so we can move that around the actual plan itself. Now, if we're actually doing we're actually tracing over the PDF itself, the first thing I would do is I would actually use my construction lines. Now, your construction lines can be found under the drawing and annotation section, and you can see here just on the construction lines you've got a horizontal, a vertical, an angular one, and some other options as well. What I'm going to be doing is I'm actually going to be placing some vertical construction lines. Now you can see that's the construction line that's floating around on the plan, and what I'm doing, I'm just drawing the construction lines on the outside of the walls. You can see there as well, I'm actually now using the grab function just to kind of move the plan across, and I'm also using it to zoom in so I can place the construction lines vertically. You can see the construction lines, a blue line there, and a blue line there. What I'm now going to do is use some horizontal construction lines. So I'm going to put a horizontal construction line in here, and I'm also going to put a horizontal construction line in here, and I'm going to put a horizontal construction line in there. So all the outside of the walls have all got a construction line laying across them. Now what that's going to do is actually going to help me draw the walls on top of the PDF plan itself. What I also need to do as well is I need to go into Views in 3D, go to Pens, and what I'm going to be doing is changing the actual display of the pen to scan mode. Now what that's going to allow me to do is actually draw or allow for me to see on the plan a red line on the plan, so we can actually see what we're drawing on top of. So I'll click OK on there. Now to actually place the actual the walls, so we've got some brick and block cavity walls going around the extension itself. We've got the height of the extension walls is going to be 2.4 meters high. This is where I'm now going to go to my architectural toolbar, and I'm now going to place the external wall. So from the external wall library, I'll click on the little drop down button, and the first wall we've actually got there is a brick and block cavity wall. If the option was an external cavity block wall, I can draw an external cavity block wall, or we could be doing a stone cavity block wall. So brick and block cavity wall, one of the templates that we've already got in the software is 2.4 meters high, which is the height of the wall on the plan, and we're going to be doing a single story. So I'll select that wall there. Now what we then do is we actually estimate the wall before we place it onto our PDF plan itself. Now these are the same dialog boxes you'll actually find in EstimatorXpress. So what we're actually effectively doing is we're actually estimating it before we draw it. So you can see there 2.4 meters high for the height of the wall. The software is also estimating for the external leaf thickness and also the internal leaf thickness. We can see it's got 100 mil on there. We've also got height of the coursing block above the DPC. We've got 150 mil for the coursing block. Now we can also switch on these two little buttons here. They do kind of help me, because if I'm actually in that little box there asking for the dimension for the internal leaf thickness, you can actually see there it's giving me a nice little kind of description at the top. So if I click in any of these boxes, you can actually see that changing. So this is actually page 1 of 4. So to estimate the wall, we're actually doing the external dimensions. We're also doing the by clicking next, we're also doing the internal, the foundation details. Now the software has already got some pre-programmed and assumptions based on building regs for the depth of your trench. We're actually going 900 mil deep. We're actually going 600 mil wide, and we're also doing 400 mil for the structural concrete thickness. Again, you can see on there having the little kind of tech tip button. That gives us a little bit of dialogue there, just telling us what to be aware of when we're estimating the structural concrete thickness. We're also estimating for the trench sheets, PlansXpress excavation, and we're also estimating for the bulking materials we're actually digging out this ground. So because the spoil is going to be loose, we can then fill up part of a skip, and we can then factor the loose soil by 1.5. So whatever quantity we're actually digging out that ground is going to be 1.5. Again, you can change any of these kind of factors if you need to. You can change any of these dimensions, or change that to a no if you want doing PlansXpress excavation on the build. But we're going to leave it to defaulted yes. The same goes for the footing details. We're going to we're going 150 mil for the splash course depth, 225 mil there for the height of the block work to the outer leaf below the DPC. We've got 100 mil there, so if you want to change that to Part L building regs to allow for the additional cavity, we can do 140, so the cavity width is now 140, and we've also got height of the trench blocks and height of the block work to in a leaf below the actual DPC there. Is the wall going to be insulated? Yes, it is. Is there going to be a separate DPC? Yes, there is. And then we kind of go into the end, plastering and decorating. Is the main block work plastered? Yes, it is. So it's even doing the internal finishes, the internal plastering, and also the internal decoration. Number of skirting boards, 1, because there's going to be 1 skirting board because we're doing a single story. If we were actually doing a double story, then you'd estimate for 2. And is the main wall skirting primed? Yes, it has been. And is the main wall skirting decorated? Yes, it is. So we'll click finish. So that's the wall's now been estimated, and we can then return back to the plan. Now, if I just zoom into this corner here, because this is where I'm going to place the first corner of the wall, you can actually see there the software is actually snapping, and that was the important part of the putting in the construction lines. We can now give a reference point. We can get an intersection between those 2 construction lines itself. So if I left mouse click and then zoom out, you can see there that's the wall that's kind of floating around on the plan. You can also see as well there's a little kind of arrow that's kind of pointing to the right. Now what that means is that's actually indicating the external side of the wall. Now it's actually pointing the wrong way. It's just because if I was to kind of go down rather than up, it would actually be pointing the right way if I was actually going down. But because we're going to go up, I need to make sure the arrow is actually pointing to the left. Now you'll see this option here, external side. All I've got to do, switch that to the left, and now you can see the arrow is pointing to the left. If I was to draw the wall down now, it'll actually pointing in the wrong way, but we're actually going up. What I'm now going to do, going to zoom into to the intersection of that construction line, and you can see that the software is actually snapped to that point automatically. I'm again using the grab function just to centralize the plan. I can use the grab function again. You can just see there it's actually snapping to all the different kind of intersection points where the construction lines meet. If I right click, that will stop what I'm doing. So as we can see there, we've got this red wall that's kind of running along on top of the PDF plan itself. Now, if I want to just make sure I've got all the right heights and all my kind of elevations are correct, I can go to 3D preview, and you can see there by clicking on the 3D button, you can make that as big or as small as you want it. If you want to have your plan a little bit more kind of in focus, you can just make that a little bit smaller. But you can see there on the 3D, all I'm doing is just moving it around with a mouse. Little left mouse click allows you to then kind of put that into a kind of a 3D environment. What I'm also going to be doing as well is, because on the wall that we're actually building off, we've got a couple of area of openings on this side of the wall and also that side of the wall as well. So what I need to do, I need to actually draw a wall across here, the one that's already standing. So if I right click, it'll actually remember the last thing I did. If I right click, I can then place a wall from that corner there, and we can place the wall to that corner there. And you'll see on the plan, we've now got that wall that we're actually building off of the extension. Just going to press refresh. That'll just make sure all the corners are then kind of filled in as well. There's a couple of things as well I'm going to do here. As you can see from the plan, we've got an internal wall here, an internal block wall. So going back to my architectural toolbar, I'm going to come across one on the walling side of it, and then we can pick the block wall. Again, we can pick a 2.4 single story. We can then estimate that up as well. Very, very similar. Overall, the wall details, foundation details, footing details as well. We can switch on our little kind of tech tip and our tech labels, and also the finishes. On the internal wall, we're obviously going to plaster and decorate both sides, and we're also going to have a skirting board on one side and the other. So we've actually got two skirting boards, and priming and decorating those as well. Let me press finish. I can now place the wall on that corner there. Now you can actually see there, if I was actually drawing the wall that way, it would be flush to the wall we're actually drawing off. But because I've kind of brought it down, it's actually just kind of sitting just to the left. Now what I'm going to do, not on the external side, but a button above, I can then justify it to the right. So that's giving me a justification from the wall we're actually drawing off. And if I just pull the wall down to that wall there, it'll actually find the perpendicular point of the walls, and you can see on there we've got a block wall now in the 3D. Again, same thing. If I right click, my last command, and what I'm now going to do, I'm going to do this by eye. I don't need a construction line on here, and then we can drop another block wall into that little section there. Just going to zoom up there. Now, what I'm now going to do, I'm actually going to lay some flooring on the software. I've got a flooring I need to put in there, and also put on there. So I'm going to go to my flooring section. With the flooring, you've got different floors you can put on. You've got beam and block, you've got a floor slab, and you've also got raft and toe as well. Now, what the first one I'm going to do, I'm just going to do 3 examples on here. I've got a beam and block floor. We could actually do a beam and block floor with an insulated screed floor. Again, this will allow us to estimate up the beam and block floor. I can switch on my 2 little labels. It's highlighting the blocks and the beams, the DPC, and also the slips, as well as the screed, the insulation, and also where the floating floor is going to go, and then our requirement for any plant. So on the first one, all we do to actually place the floor, corner to corner, and into that corner. So 3 reference points, and you can see on there we've now dropped that floor in there. Very, very simple, very, very easy to do. On the middle one, we'll go to the floor, but this time we're actually going to do a slab, and we can choose from a reinforced or unreinforced slab. And then on the slab, we can place a slab in there, place a slab in there, and then we can go to that corner there. On the last flooring example, go back to the floor. This time we're actually doing raft and toe. We've got 3 options to choose from: 200mm, 250mm, or 300mm. Let's do a 250. So you can see there you've got that that depth or the thickness of the sand blinding. You've also got thickness. The top one is going to be the thickness of the slab, thickness of the sand blinding, and then you've got your thickness of your sub base. We can press finish on there. We can click that corner. We can go to that corner. Go to that corner. Go to that corner, and then we actually finish off in that little circle. So we've got 3 different types of floor here. We've got a beam and block, we've got a raft and toe, and we've also just got a standard slab in the middle. And you can see them all on the 3D as well. Okay. A couple of other details we want to put on here. What I'll do first and foremost is we'll put a couple of windows. The width of this window is 900mm. So we can go to the window section. We can select from the options we've got in the windows. We've got a 9x9. That will estimate the window up. Now, if you kind of get into the point that you're kind of using the actual software and you're kind of you're quite used to the quantities that it's actually giving you, you've obviously got the size of that window. There is a little button there you can just accept the default. So if you kind of get used to it, you know what the dimension sizes are. Rather than kind of going up through the workbooks looking at everything, you can just accept defaults. And you can drop a window in there, and we can drop another window in there. All we're doing is lining it up with the PDF we've got, so you can see the window on the side and the window on the front. Same for the bay windows. So returning back to the window section, we can go to the bay windows. We can go to the software bar dummy sash, and then we've got 6x1.2. Again, if I want to, I can just accept defaults at this stage, or if I want to kind of just check it through, I can do. And then it's a case of then just the lining up with the PDF plan, and then it kind of fits perfectly, really. You can see on there the bay window then kind of appears on the 3D. Same for the doors. We can go to the doors in here. We've got different ones to choose from: external doors, internal doors, patios, bifolds. So if we want to put a hardwood bifold in there, the plan's telling me it's 3.3 meters across. So you can see there, accept defaults. So once you really start getting the hang of the software, things become very, very quickly to do. You can see on there we've got our bifold at the front. A couple of things to put on here. Got a couple of area of openings as per the plan. Got an area of opening that's from here to this wall here. So what I'm going to do, I need to measure that gap because I don't have it on the plan. So I need to find out the actual width of that gap. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back to my drawing and annotation options. I'm going to go to vertical construction line, and I'm going to lay a construction line just there. Now what I'm then going to do is use the linear dimension tool, and I'm going to measure from that construction line to that wall, and you can see there we've got a gap of 3.3 meters, or 3,319 mil. So what we can do, we can go to our architectural selection. We want to form an opening, so we can go to the openings in the steelwork options. We can go to structural opening to an existing wall, and we can pick a large opening. Now what we're going to be doing is we're actually going to be changing the dimension to 3319. So I can put 3319. This is going to estimate up for the steel lintel, also your pad stones, bricks, and also how many slates. I'm going to place the area of opening just there. Now if I spin this around, you can see there we've got our area of opening we've just formed into the existing wall. Highlight the dimension, press delete, that disappears. And what I'm now going to do is measure using the linear dimension tool from that wall to that wall. That's 2117. Go back to the openings, structural opening. This time we're going to do a small opening. Let's call it 2.1. And we can put the opening in there. So again, on the 3D, you've got the additional opening on there as well. So you can see our 3D is now starting to kind of take shape. A couple of things we're going to put on here now is the roof. So by going to the architectural toolbar, going to the roofing section, we can go to the cut roof. We can then pick the pitch that we want. Now what I'm going to be doing is going to changing this to 25 degrees. I can then estimate the roof up, all the tiling information, guttering information. I can select the lean-to roof. What I'm going to be doing is placing the roof. I'm going to select a wall for the roof to be supported on. Select that front wall there. We give 3 points of reference here. First point, second point is going to be the width, and then we give a length. And you'll see there on the 3D, it drops the lean-to roof on there as well, with a 25 degree pitch. The last roof to put on here is going to be this front roof here. Again, if I right click, my last command, it will automatically pick a 25 degree pitch. I can pick an apex roof here, click OK. Again, same principle. We select a roof that we're going to place it on. We give it 3 points of reference. First point there, second point is going to be the width, and then the third point this time is actually going to be teeing it into this roof line here. So by clicking T on the keyboard, I'll click on that roof line there. That's where we're going to be teeing it into. And then if I just press refresh, that'll then just show up all the gable for me as well. There's also another little roof as well on the bay window we can drop on there. So there is a little bit of you can do the little bits of detail. Under the roofs you've got a small cut roof for bays. We can pick a 30 degree, we can change that to 25 if we want to. Accept defaults because I know what it's given me. And what we're actually going to be placing on is a hip roof. All we've then got to do is click on the bay window we're placing it on, and then the software does the rest. You can actually see there on the plan on 3D, we've got our little roof on there. So we pretty much retraced the overall for that extension using that PDF. So you can actually see it's quite quick to actually use and put the kind of detail on there. What we can now do is we can actually save this off. We can go to Save As. We can save it onto, let's see, say we're saving it onto our desktop. We'll save it as let's pick drawing number 10. I'm going to replace that one. Now what I'm now going to do is just minimize the PlansXpress, not required anymore. And I'm going to go to EstimatorXpress. Now to actually start estimating the job, we can click on the My Estimates button. Now this will give you a list of all the work that you've been estimating using the software. As you can see, there is a nice kind of list in there anyway, but it is this is really just from demonstrations I've done with with customers. We'll click on the New Estimate button. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to just going to, for ease, put my name in there. And from the drop-down list, we can then decide if it's going to be like a lean-to extension. I'm going to import my plan. So I'm going to locate that plan, drawing number what was it we called it? Drawing number 10. I'm going to apply the master price book to this job. I'm going to pick an extension specification for this job as well. And what I'm going to be doing is actually picking the PlansXpress import group of workbooks. So it's going to automatically bring in the estimated quantities from the plan. We'll also be able to appoint a start date on the job, which is going to be quite important once you start the project managing the work. It will then start scheduling materials based on that date. And you can also produce a small extension bar chart, which will give you an indication of when the build phases are due to start, when they're going to finish. Customers' details, very important for the quotation when you produce it. Just type the company address in there. So that will all be transferred onto the quotation. Markup on the job, how much you're looking to make on the job. Obviously, you're trying to maximize your profit, so we're going to mark up by 30%. And you can also apply a an inflation rate to the job, because if we're starting the job in February, more than likely by the time we do start building, prices might have gone up on bricks, blocks, sand, or any timbers, so we can factor in a small inflation cost. As I said, do please feel free to ask questions and stuff as we kind of go through. But what we'll probably do is, I do believe others have kind of already had a demonstration. So I kind of guess that's the crux of the software, is being able to pull in the plan. It will then kind of price the software from the plan. As you can see there on the screen, it's doing the brick and block cavity walls. It's estimating the slabs, the different slabs we popped on there, also the bifold doors. So it will do kind of each element of the actual plan itself. So that's it, brought the job in. A couple of items in there that we just need to specify around the kind of windows. Need to put an actual window in there we're buying, and also in the raft and toe as well. Just a couple of items that require specifying within the workbook. You can actually do that by going into the workbook and then finding the item that you need to specify. So it's done the structural opening, it's done the small slab, it's done the roofs. Raft and toe, it's done, and also the windows, as well as the brick and block cavity wall, beam and block, bifold, and also the block wall. So you can actually see there, within good space of about 40 minutes with me kind of yabbering on, we've been able to produce the actual plan, and also estimated it as well. So we've had a look at the software in action. The software will also be able to export your estimate into your Health and Safety Expert software, as well as your ContractsXpert software, as well as your kind of project management ProjectXpert software. We're not actually going to go into the software itself, but just kind of give a bit of a brief overview. You've got the import estimate button here. That will then kind of create a health and safety document, health and safety file policy, based on your estimate, and the actual documentation it's going to then produce are risk assessments, which are all going to be labelled as well with the information in there regarding hazards and risks, as well as cost assessments it will produce, so substances that are hazardous to health, as well as your construction phase plan. So Health and Safety Expert 2016 provides easy to use templates to produce compliance with CDM 2015, compatible with CHAS. You can also impress customers and set yourself apart with your attitude to health and safety, and you can import your estimate from EstimatorXpress to pre-fill most of the paperwork. It will also provide easy templates to produce the likes of risk assessments and cost assessments, as well as method statements, pre-construction information, construction phase C health and safety plan, your health and safety file, company health and safety policy, as well as well over 37 kind of management documents, for example, like fire plans, site audits, that kind of thing. ContractsXpert, again, very, very similar. You can import your job from EstimatorXpress. So you can actually draw up a contract between you and your customer that will kind of list all the terms and conditions with regards to the contract itself. It will produce a small works contract as well as a subcontractor contract, and as I said, you can also import your estimate from EstimatorXpress. You've also got some other documentation in there as well. You start work now form, changing work form, also your notice of your rights to cancel, as well as a cancellation form as well. You can specify payment schedules, phases of interim payments. You can add in any kind of necessary assumptions, so you've got total clarity, so it just makes sure that there's no kind of disputes. ProjectXpert, project management software. You can import the estimate into ProjectXpert, and then you have your kind of critical path, your Gantt chart with allocation of of resources on the bottom half, as well as your kind of timeline on the top half. So you can be in control of all your daily, weekly and monthly tasks. You can merge multiple jobs and assess the best use of labour, materials, subcontractor and also equipment. Simple and effective reporting, charts and histograms. You can actually make sure that nothing gets overlooked. And as I said, you can create critical paths and baseline projects to track any changes. And again, one of the big features is you can actually import from EstimatorXpress as well. And this is all from one software package, really, when it all kind of combines and works together. We've also won numerous awards over the last 18 months, been up for lots of awards, and we've actually won a few of them. 2016 Technology Innovator Awards, Best Estimating Software for EstimatorXpress. Most Advanced Cost Estimating Application and Award for Excellence in Customer Service. 2016 UK IT Industry Awards, we were a finalist, and we won an award for Most Outstanding Estimating Software. You also get unlimited support from the dedicated support team. So if you do get stuck, or you do have to call upon anyone to give you some technical advice, some support advice, you can always speak to the guys in the support team, who are quite willing to speak to you Monday to Friday, 9 till 5 o'clock. They're on the phone for you to use. You'll also have live merchant prices in the software. The software links to Build a Warehouse, to Graham's, TradePoint, Keyline, as well as Travis Perkins, Dewson's, and also Crystal Direct for your windows and doors. Many thanks for watching this evening.